All right, let's move to Washington, D.C., where, as I said, the rock star Senator John McCAIN is standing by and just riding on a big wave right now. Because, John, first thing I want to say is I was sitting there watching this, and I almost died when you pulled it out of Napolitano that she, too, joins the list of administration bigwigs who have not read the Arizona law.
You know, it's you can't make it up. You can't make it up that the Attorney General of the United States of America says that this law is clearly unconstitutional, and when asked whether he read it or not, says no. And by the way, very little up-to-date news from what John and I have heard is that we still haven't gotten an answer on an April 9th letter. I asked the Secretary Napolitano about that yesterday as well, asking for more National Guard on the border. We didn't get an answer to that. And now we hear that in the Justice Department they're working, quote, 24 hours a day trying to find a way to challenge in court the Arizona law. Has somebody got their priorities a little screwed up?
Holy cow, 24/7 they're working.
That's what they say.
Well, okay, let's start. With something this big, it's hard to figure out where to put your arms around it. But let's start with the State Department and Red. I'm going to go ahead and call it Red China. John, what the heck is going on down there?
Well, now you've got to understand that if you're going to have a dialogue with the Chinese, because they have such a free and open society, it's sort of on a equal basis. In other words, they've got problems, we've got problems.
Oh, yeah.
They killed millions of their own citizens. They continue oppressing the Tibetans, not allow minorities in China anything but prison. Anyone who pokes their head up goes to jail. But we're sort of the same. So, it's sort of a moral equivalency thing, Barry, and I don't think you understand it very well.
I apparently don't. I mean,
after all, Arizona has this law, which no one has read in the administration, obviously, but it's clearly a huge problem, right pretty much along the human rights situation in China. Give me a break.
Well, they have certain protocols when you start dealing with governments like the United States and China, and I don't state them. But would it have been a violation of protocol if China had brought this up and we had just said to them, mind your own business?
That's a thought. By the way, did you see where the State Department spokesman Crowley said, a quote, there is, as many have said, real concerns about this Arizona law will inevitably devolve into racial profiling. That would be a fundamental challenge to human rights around the world.
The world?
Crowley said.
Well, you and John Kyle have demanded a retraction and an apology from this Posner guy. What's going to happen? I mean, is this going to fall on deaf ears?
You know what this really is? The strong indication of the great divide in America today. The intellectual left and the intellectual liberal media and the people of this country. In other words, 60% to 70% of the American people support the Arizona law, right? The American people. 70% in Arizona support the law. 98% of the liberal media oppose it, right?
Yes.
There is a sharp divide between the liberal elite in this country and average citizens, and that divide is growing bigger every day.
Well, the president is operating. He's got a new word that he's using now. The word is distraction. Remember a week ago he said he couldn't run an Xbox and the TV networks and the Internet and all this other stuff. It's just a distraction. And yesterday, apparently, they came out and they said over at the White House, they came out and they said, hey, all these questions about who read the Arizona law and who didn't, that is, here comes again, a distraction that takes nothing away from the detailed overview that's going on and the review that they're conducting. It's all a distraction whether or not we read it.
You wouldn't want to start out by reading the law. That would be illogical.
And a distraction.
It was certainly a distraction to read something that you are criticizing and making an outrageous statement like you can't take your child out for ice cream cone without being harassed. I mean, this is so infuriating, and what this is all about, really, too, Barry. Another thing is that if you heard one word from the president of the United States or anyone else in the administration about the federal responsibility to secure our borders. It is a federal responsibility. So they attack a law that is a direct result of an outcry from the people of Arizona and our governor because our border is not secured and our citizens are not safe. And the fact is that these people that live in Washington and Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway and Manhattan, they have plenty of security. They have plenty of security, my friend. Mm-hmm. But did Rob Krentz have that kind of security? Do the people in southern Arizona have that kind of security? Of course not.
I'm going to leave you with one thought. As you know, the president of Mexico is here today. I'm
going to a luncheon with him.
They're a big gala tonight. Did you get invited to the big throwdown tonight?
No, I'm invited to a lunch.
I see. Well, let me ask you. We're going to start a little betting pool here. If you want in on this, is the president going to bow down to Felipe Calderon too? He has with everybody else.
Sure. And I'll be very interested to see whether he references the law. And I would hope that President Calderon, who, by the way, I admire, he's fighting against these drug cartels, and they're literally overwhelmed in many respects by it. But the Mexican immigration law? Have somebody look that up for you. Have Michelle look that up for you. It is far tougher than the United States immigration.
I tell you what, I'll trade you one for one. I'm going to send you a copy of California Penal Code, let me make sure I've got it here, 834B. They've got a law on their books that is just like our law, and it's been there a long time, longer than our law in Arizona.
Well, Los Angeles and San Diego, I hope that they will agree not to accept our water or our power since we could use all that water back here in Arizona.
Hey, it's always good to talk.
This is just, this has turned into an Orwellian experience, but I'm proud of the people of Arizona for standing up for what our legislature has done, and maybe there will be some awakening that we can get this border secure, and we can. John Kyle and I have a 10-point plan. We can secure our border, and anybody look at our plan, I know we can.
You're on. Senator McCain. John McCain, always good to talk to you.
Thanks, Barry.